President Trump versus progressive Democrats. Both sides speaking out yesterday after President Trump's tweets over the weekend. Listen to this.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time. That's what I said in a tweet, which I guess some people think is controversial. These are people that, in my opinion, hate our country. Now, you can say what you want, but get a list of all of the statements they've made. And all I'm saying that if they're not happy here, they can leave.
This is a president who has said, grab women by the This is a president who's called black athletes sons of This is a president who has called black people who come from black and brown countries. This is a president who has equated neo-Nazis with those who protest against them in Charlottesville. This is a president who has openly violated the very value our country aspires to uphold: equality under the law, religious liberty, equal protection, and protection from persecution.
I am not surprised at what he's doing, but I also know that we're focused on making it better, because we don't leave the things that we love. And when we love this country, what that means is that we propose the solutions to fix it.
Lisa, the Democrats were fighting with each other, attacking one another. Again, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez essentially called Nancy Pelosi a racist.
Yes.
Said that Nancy Pelosi was criticizing these four women because of their ethnicity, because they're women of color. But then President Trump gets right into the middle of this, and now all the Democrats are locked arms against him because of the tweets and then, quite frankly, the follow-up yesterday.
He gave them a perfect opportunity to lock arms against him. There is no excuse for what he said, and he needs to understand the implications of what he said. He can't double down and say, that's not what I meant. He needed to clarify, this is unacceptable. If he didn't mean it that way, fine, but acknowledge how much he offended people. This is something, it's not okay, it's not right, and he needs to make it right. And this is giving a perfect opportunity right now for the Democrats to lock arms and have a common enemy in Donald Trump rather than each other. It's a mess.
The Wall Street Journal has a terrific editorial today about this, and this is one of the lines. It's the second line in the piece. The bonfire of inanities in the last 2 days between Donald Trump and the Democrats over who's the bigger racist or a real anti-Semite or greater disgrace to the nation is a new low even by recent standards. But what it does going into next year is the Democrats want that election next year to be a referendum on the president's behavior, his character, and his personality.
That's right.
And he's giving them reasons to do that. Rather than making it about the policy, I've said over and over and over again, I will talk about policy all day long, but not personality. But he puts everybody in this country in a position where you do wind up talking about his personality and his behavior and character.
There's just no... There's no way around it on an issue like this. You have to address it. I always say that whoever is reacting is the one who's losing. Right now, Donald Trump is on his heels, and he is reacting to the issues that he's caused. He's not acting. He's not out there talking about the policies. He's not setting the agenda right now. He's reacting to this gaffe and to this mistake and to this terrible thing that he said, and that's going to make a mess of things. You're right. We should be talking about the policy issues. But as long as these kinds of things continue to happen, that's what we're going to be talking about. And it is going to be a referendum on character.
You've taken issue with things he said in the past, what he said about professional football players, you being a former professional football player and a black man in this country. Policy over personality, where do you stand at this point?
Personality, I mean, it's not a good thing to come out and say anyone to go back to the country if you're the president of the United States. But I gotta say, I'm equally as ticked off at these four women and the entire Democratic Party, because to stand and make national crisis issues every time someone says something against you, and you just turn your eye at the fact that our inner city and urban areas are in crisis right now. I just left East Cleveland. I was in Baltimore 3 weeks ago. We're shooting each other in the streets. we're promoting gangs, we're promoting profanity, we're promoting prostitution to our little girls. And I'm talking about from the top performers in our nation. That's what they're seeing. Stand up against that. At some point, let's take the crisis. We call the crisis at the border. What about the American crisis that's happening right now? And it's just, at some point, man, it upsets me. I'm tired of seeing it. The political divide, the racial divide in America needs to stop.
That was one of the issues that I raised, particularly with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and these Democratic congresswomen, is that they didn't vote for the humanitarian aid for individuals at the border, particularly children. Most of it was going to Health and Human Services to help individual immigrant children in this country, illegal immigrant children. She didn't vote for Ocasio-Cortez did not vote for that. But then she makes a show at the border in front of a camera and makes it a photo op, and then tries to turn that to her advantage. So are you using these children who you didn't help? Are you basically ignoring the plight of people of color in your inner cities in this country? That's the central issue. So where do we go from here, policy versus personality? Who steps up and actually does something about it? Because as you pointed out, President Trump did pass the crime bill.
He's passed more than the crime bill. President Trump has given more money to HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, than any other president in history. You can go on and on. Look at what he's done with criminal justice reform. And they sit here in the top man in the Democratic Party is Joe Biden, who wrote the '94 crime bill, and you don't stand up against that and you keep your mouth shut. That's institutionalized racism right there.
Final word for now.